Hello, today we will see the pattern label dominance with, as example, Paris Monuments edition. In Java enhanced switch with pattern matching, multiple case labels might match the selector expression. To ensure clarity and predictability, the switch block checks the labels in the order they appear. The compiler will raise a compile time error if it detects that a case label can never be reached because a previous run always matches first. This concept is called pattern label dominance. Let's explore this with a French twist, the Paris Monuments. First, the Eiffel Tower dominates the rest. So here we have a method, describe monuments, which takes as a parameter an object named monument. Then you do the switch on this monument, and then you have a first case, which is a general case, the monument, and then you have a case with Eiffel Tower, which extends the monument. And so there is an error which says error unreachable because Eiffel Tower is a subtype of monument. So explanation, the case monument M match all subclasses, including Eiffel Tower. So when the switch sees an Eiffel Tower, it already matches a monument and will never reach a more specific case. That's why the compiler says label is dominated, because it gets there. If you have an Eiffel Tower, it will match this one. It will not get to this one, which is the right one. Then example 2, pattern labels also dominate constant. Here we have a static void describe visitors with a parameter count, which type is integer. You put in a switch the count as parameter, and in the first case you declare, you put a case with integer I, so it matches any integer. But in the second case, you put constant like 80, 89, and 20, 24. And this same thing will be dominated because the integer in the first case is more global and will englobe this one. So the explanation, here the pattern case integer is already matched any number, so the specific constant case 80, 89, and 20, 24 are never reached. The compiler complains again. Great. Let's see the third example, enum pattern dominance with the Louvre. So here we have an enum, monument color, white, gray, gold, and then we have a method static void paint monument with parameter monument color, the enum, name color. Then we do a switch on this color, and then on the first case, we put the enum monument color, general pattern for any enum value. And in the second case, we put one of the value of this enum, which is white. But this will provoke again an error, which is unreachable because white is already matched above. So a more global one is before a more specific one, so it provokes an error. Again, case monument color C already catch everything in the enum, including white, so the constant label is dominated. Then guarded patterns do not dominate constant. Here's the twist, guarded patterns, those with the when clause, don't dominate constant values. Here you have a method, categories 8, with as parameter integer 8 in meters, and you put a switch in this method, 8 in meters, and in the first case you have integer hash when hash greater than 100. This is the guard, the when clause. Guard pattern only match if 8 is greater than 100, and then you have case 300, a constant. Okay, specific case for Eiffel Tower 8, and then you have a more global one. But you see, here you have no problem because it is a specific kind of handling with the when clause. Here, even though 300 is greater than 100, the compiler does not consider the guarding case h greater than 100 as dominant. Guarded patterns are excluded from dominance check for complexity reason. Recommended order for case labels. To avoid confusion and compiler error, follow this ordering convention. Constant first, example 300, guarded pattern next, example integer h when h is greater than 100, and generic patterns last, example integer h. Like in this example, case 300, case 45, case integer hash when hash is greater than 100, and integer hash, the more global one. So, summary, rule, more global pattern before a specific one, example monument before Eiffel Tower, status compile time error. Then another rule, pattern dominates content, integer I before case 80, 89, compile time error. Rule, guarded patterns don't dominate constant, integer I when I greater than 100 before case 300, okay. And finally, use proper order. So first constant, secondly guarded, and finally generic clause, case. So it is the best practice. Thank you very much, and maybe see you in another video. Bye.